This will be the first time you've done French tips.
I just think French tips are more romantic looking.
They're very elegant.
I paint Abbie's nails quite often. It started before we were married. I learned by going with her one time to a nail salon. Now this is the part I have to be careful. That ain't that hard, and they're making a lot of money doing it. I'd rather be the one spending time with my wife versus paying somebody else to spend time with her.
It's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It's Monday, August 15th. How are you? Okay, I just finished up a video on Josh Duggar's computer. Now we need to talk about babies! Babies, babies, babies! And a little bit of some, I don't know what's happening here. Is it snubbing? Is it shade? Is it, I didn't include you, I didn't send you the memo, you didn't get invited? I don't know what's going on here, but something was happening over at Abbie Duggar's baby shower, and some people were not given the memo that they were supposed to wear a blue dress. There's some cliques developing in the Duggar town, and I don't know what to do about it. News at 11. We already figured there would be some cliques, and other people were not even appearing in photographs. Mind blown, mind blown, mind blown. And there's people left on the peripheral that I never would have suspected were not invited to the blue dress party. And it wasn't just Jill. Let's talk. Abbie Duggar. We love Abbie. We don't love John, but we love Abbie. I don't know what it is about Abbie. I just adore her. I adore Abbie. She's just so sweet. She was a nurse. She's got that nurse heart, you know? I don't think she's working as a nurse, but she was a nurse. And her and John's long-loved affair, which, oh, did I ever tell you this, guys? I have some tea. John David, before he met Abbie, was set up with someone. I'm not going to say who. And he was set up by Jim Bob with this woman who was a friend of Jim Bob's friend. Got it? And they were sort of like cruising around this girl, trying to get them all together in a relationship. And the woman, who wasn't super keen on John, gave him a chance and went on a date with him. And they weren't vibing, you guys. They weren't vibing. And this would be considered like pre-courting. So it's like the girl agrees to go on a date with him and they don't vibe. The girl is more modern. She didn't really grow up in the IBLP. She's not really down with any of that. And this comes through like a third party, okay? So this is a friend of a friend told me this. So allegedly, okay? So the girl and the guy, John David, go out on a date. And apparently John David is described as kind of awkward, a little bit weird. We kind of knew this, right? And the girl, basically, the friend told me, like, humors her father and does this for her dad, but makes the decision, like, I'm not going to move forward with John. And apparently John didn't like that, okay? So, not long after, within, like, literally months, I think they said 4 months, he was engaged to Abbie and they were getting married. So John and Jim Bob were on a hunt for a wife for John. And they were trying to set them up with this other girl that didn't want John. And then John settled on Abbie. I mean, that happens all the time. I mean, you try a lot of dates and some don't work out and some don't this. But apparently the rejection wasn't taken very well by Jim Bob and John, because apparently the Duggar boys don't get told no a lot, I guess. That's what the friend alleged. So he was kind of salty, I guess. Struggling a little bit with the rejection. But he's happy now, and his wife, Abbie, who is super adorable. I just hate knowing that I had all this tea in my heart, and I never told you guys this. Abbie was not his first choice. You guys, that's okay, though. I dated a lot of guys before my husband. Did you? Did you have someone that you thought was your first choice and then you had a lot of, like, you kissed a lot of frogs and then you finally found the one? Did you? Yeah, I did, and I found the best. Love him. So glad that I went through all of those frogs. So it could have just been something like that. Like, he had to be rejected to find his soulmate. But again, because Jim Bob was heavily involved in it, which is super weird. Apparently, Jim Bob was super talking about the whole thing, and the dads had to, like, organize things and discuss. Weird. Can you imagine your dad sitting down talking about your relationship? And by the way, he was in his, like, late 20s. Weird. Okay. So anyways, let's go on. It's like sidebar. Are we in trial? Sidebar. Okay. Judge Brooks, can we have a sidebar? I got to talk about John David's previous girlfriend that he didn't really date for very long. So, on Saturday, Esther Bates, who's pregnant with a baby girl, went to somebody's house. I can't tell where this was done. And she posed with a group of the Duggar daughters, okay? So Esther shared on her story a photograph with Katie Duggar, who's Jed's wife, Joyanna, Abbie, who's the wife, Esther is in the middle, and then Kendra Duggar, Lauren Duggar, and Jana Duggar, okay? So Katie, Joy, Abbie, Kendra, Lauren, and Jana. Got it? The sons' wives except for Anna. So Anna was not in the memo about the blue dresses. They're all wearing blue dresses. Some of you guys had things to say about the dresses. I'm not here to criticize. I just think they're all adorable. You know how I feel about the Duggar girls. They're pretty. I will never insult that they're pretty. Michelle Duggar is beautiful, and she made beautiful girls, okay? And I still think that Jana is the prettiest. Just my opinion. And in the photograph, Lauren is very much not pregnant, nor is Kendra. It's good to see Kendra not pregnant for a hot minute. Okay, so Esther then shared a photograph with just her and Abbie. So fun celebrating you and the baby boy today. Love you tons. And so Esther is Nathan's wife, Nathan Bates. So she's due with a baby girl coming up in the fall. Well, so who is missing from this picture of Esther with all of the sister-in-laws and sisters? Jessa, Jill, and Anna. Personas not grata. Now, it could have been as simple as Esther doesn't really know Jill because Jill's not in the picture and hasn't been in the picture the entire time that she has known the Duggars, because if you know anything about Esther, she and Nathan had been dating for a little bit, not a super long time, got married, and Nathan Bates, whose real name is Kenneth, weird, right? Anyways, they all go by their middle names. It's wild. Kenneth Nathan Bates married Esther, and they moved to Arkansas, and Kenneth Nathan Bates is good friends with John David and Austin and the boys, okay? The Duggar boys. Kenneth Nathan Bates is not good friends with Derek Dillard, and so it's highly probable that there is no relationship that Esther would have with Jill. But Jill shared a photograph of her with Abbie, and she was not wearing a blue dress. So I was like, oh, so who started the blue dress theme? Was the blue dress idea Esther's? Was the blue dress idea Abbie's? Like, did they not tell everyone to wear a blue dress? Or was it only like, we're going to all wear blue dresses and not tell anyone else, and then we're all going to take a picture together in our blue dresses, and then Jill shows up in an olive top with a pink floral skirt on? Was Jill snubbed from the blue dress thing? Now, again, Jill probably doesn't know Esther very much, so that's probably why she's not in the same picture with Esther. Jessa's also not in the picture because Jessa doesn't go to church with them. So, again, Esther probably doesn't know them. But it's weird because Josiah and Lauren don't go to the same church as they do either. So why are Josiah and Laura in there? And Kendra doesn't go to the same church with them either. But again, Nathan might be friends with Joseph. I don't know. Maybe they do business together. It's just weird that Jessa and Anna aren't in there. But again, Nathan Bates is probably not friends with Josh because Nathan is quite a bit younger and Josh is like 34 and he's in jail, and Josh did not interact or be friends with his siblings' friends. So everyone I've talked to, this is how they've described Josh and Anna. They were always older than everyone. And mind you, Jana's only a year younger. So it's not like they're so out far-fetched. But Jana still lives at home and she's still the mom. And basically, in my opinion, free Jana. Okay. But Josh and Anna's never, they left the house. He left the house young. Obviously, they wanted to get him the hell out of there because of what he was doing. And he got married to Anna. That was their solution to get him curtailed and controlled. And we see how that worked. And now he's in prison for the next 10 years. And he's supposed to be there for 12, but his release date is in August of 2032. It's not fair. I know. Now, Josh and Anna were not friends with the siblings' friends. So they kind of did their own thing. They actually lived out in Washington, D.C. for a while, or sort of in Maryland. And then they came back, and Josh just never really had the same friend groups. He was described by people I talked to as really only interacting with people that were older than him, and never ever really had much of a relationship with his younger brothers or their friends. He was always like the older one, and Anna was always never really interested in being friends with the sister-in-laws either, or the brothers' wives either. So Josh and Anna kind of like lived in a bubble. And then after the whole thing happened in 2015, when he cheated on Anna, they didn't really embrace him anymore. There's always been this like massive divide because they all think Josh is a creep, but they have to pretend that they support him because of their dad. Anyways, so Anna not being in the picture doesn't surprise me, right? But it does kind of, but it's Esther's picture, so Jim Bob can't control that. So we don't, one, know if Jana was there, or Anna was there. We also don't know if Jessa was there. Now, Jessa doesn't go to the same church as these girls, and I'm deciding that this whole group of girls is probably a little bit cliquey, and Josh, because Jessa and Ben go to a different church, and they're Reformed, and they don't have the same belief system, they're probably not allowed into all of these events because they all are divided over faith, allegedly. So a core group of girls are all sticking together, even though Kendra doesn't go to the same church as them and Lauren doesn't go to the same church as them. None of them, they're all not Reformed. Jessa and Anna, who are Reformed, are not pictured, and then Jill, they did not send Jill the memo about the picture to wear blue. Or maybe Jill got the memo and she didn't wear blue on purpose. I don't know. But the fact that Jill was included is a good sign, right? Right? Good sign. She made the effort to go see Abbie. Jill has some, she's the second oldest daughter. And growing up, she was super close to John, David, and Jana. So I'm not surprised that she would be there for Abbie because it was like the Three Musketeers. And they've talked about that. Josh kind of did his own thing. And then it was like Jana, John, David, and Jill doing their things together because they were like all within a year and a half of each other. And it was like the twins and the wild child. Or Jana was the wild child and Jill was not. I don't know. They were all super close growing up. So I'm not surprised that Jill would be there for John David's wife. Does that make sense? Now, Jessa not being photographed doesn't mean she's not there. I'm sure she was there. I'm sure Michelle was there. Hell, Anna might have been there. But it's interesting who got to wear blue dresses or who got the memo on blue dresses and who didn't. The baby's due in, I think, the beginning of September. And they have a registry over on Amazon, which has almost everything already purchased. And this is going to be the second child for the two of them. And that's all I got. So are you surprised to find out that there was a blue dress party and some people were not invited? Do you think that either Jill was snubbed or did she just rebel? Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Bye, guys.